Hey YouTube, Freedom to Ignite here. I've got a case review for you. This is actually a redo from a couple years ago. Pelican versus SKB. At the time, I had really good things to say about the SKB. I had found it at Midwest Photo here in Columbus. And I was looking for something to fly with a pistol, but unfortunately, this closest thing to this size case that SKB had was too thick, so I decided to return it and keep this one. But apparently that video has been very popular because SKB reached out to me and said, hey, by the way, we've been expanding our line quite a bit since you did your review. Just want to let you know we've got that size case out if you're still interested. So I decided to check it out because I remembered I liked things about the SKB over the Pelican. I was just kind of curious to see what they've changed. So going to give you guys a relatively quick overview of these two cases specifically. This is Pelican's 1170 and SKB's 3i 100603, or no, just, excuse me, 3BC. I was confused by that part number because obviously 1170 is a lot easier to say for Pelican. However, this part number here tells you a lot about the case. 3I stands for injection molded. The 1006.3 gives you the interior dimensions, so it's 10.6.3. B is for black and C is for foam, the cube foam. So actually a pretty cool part number. Once you know how to decode it, it's very interesting. So the overall dimensions of these cases, as you can see, are about the same. The SKB is maybe a 1/16 or an 1/8 inch wider. It is about an eighth of an inch taller from the highest point on the ribs here to the ribs going this way on the SKB. The handles, I really like the way SKB does their handles. They're a nice rubber, soft rubber, and they go to 90 degrees, so fully upright and fully flat. And it's got a positive that stops here on the case, a nice positive stop. Pelican, on the other hand, theirs goes past 90 degrees. When you fold it flat, it doesn't actually stop. It stops on the inside of the handle. And the handle's just kind of, it's just the same plastic as the case, so it's not as comfortable to carry. It doesn't fit as well in the hand. Granted, what I'm carrying in these isn't very heavy, but if you did have something small and heavy, gold bars, this would be a whole lot nicer to carry it in. In fact, if you do have some gold bars for me to test, send them over. The last thing on the cases, and if you watch my first review, it hasn't changed a whole lot, is these latches that Pelican uses require a bit more force. SKB has got a very solid latch also, except you can just, I don't know if the microphone's picking up, but this is just a lot less volume. There's a lot less force to get that going over. Also, my fingers don't have to work as hard. They have updated these latches since the last case I reviewed. These have got a little scallop, so they're easier to grip onto when wet, slippery condition, but they're just as easy to actuate. Other than that, the cases are almost identical on the outside dimensions, as I said. But here's where it gets really interesting. Even with the extra padding and stuff and the extra size that goes into the SKB case, it's a 1/10 of an ounce lighter on my scale. I know it's not much, but I just realized that that's not completely true. The SKB is actually a little bit lighter. The reason that the SKB comes in a similar weight to this Pelican is because I cut the foam out. So, this is the foam that I cut out, and it fits nicely. It works great for my needs. The problem is, I can only really fit a single stack magazined gun in there, and that's what I use it for. It's for transporting a gun. You can see a box of ammo that fits nicely in here. The other problem is that protrudes out. When I close this, it requires more force to get that closed because it's a little bit taller than it should be to fit in this case, but I like having it all in one. So Another reason I like the Pelican, just slightly bigger interior volume. Um, you see, they both use egg crate style foam on top. But here's so I don't know. That's pretty interesting that they use the same thing. Excuse me. Another thing interesting is SKB, because of the larger volume, they will give you 2 pieces of foam. Pelican just gives you a little bit thicker piece of foam, but you can see, even though the exterior sizes of the case isn't a whole lot different, the foam, you can fit a lot more in there. So that's kind of nice. One of the things I'm thinking about doing is maybe you could cut this one out for one firearm, cut this one out for another, and there might still be enough left in there for rigidity. Probably not, but SKB, just like Pelican, sells their foam individually, so you could cut one out for a firearm and still use this as a spacer that just would get crushed down. The open cell foam, I think it's open cell that they use. Anyway, this cube cut foam bounces back really well, so if you don't want to cut it out for something, you can just kind of smash it in there. I've got a special project for you for this case that is a little bit different. Let's see how it works, and if it doesn't work out well, just order a new piece of foam. It's not that expensive. So anyway, face is real. I really like that SKB has come out with a case that compares in size with the 1170, even if it is just slightly larger. It's not nearly as large as the previous case that I reviewed, and it is probably going to, I don't want to say replace this one, because there doesn't appear to be a whole lot of secondhand value in these cases. I haven't tried, but the foam's cut out and anything, so I'll probably keep this. But future travel, I'll probably be using this. One thing I just realized I didn't even talk about is the placement of the latch hole, or the lock holes. One of the things I never liked about the Pelican is there's inside the latch. So if you were to put this on, see if I can show you. If you put the lock on here, you can't turn it with the handle down. So you have to pull the handle up, put the latch, close this lock, and then put your handle back down to put back in your case, or in your suitcase if you're traveling with it that way. If you're traveling with gold bars, once again, you probably have this attached to your wrist somehow, I would imagine. The SKB case put their lock hole on the outside of the latch, so it doesn't matter if the handle's up or down. It just, you put it in and go like this, and it closes. Maybe Pelican did it that way so that you get a little bit of added security, but as I said, this is pretty easy to take. If you're using this as your high security of your case, you're probably doing something wrong. So, this is pretty much just to stay compliant wherever you may have to have in this case, a firearm lockup. So, that's my review on these 2 cases. I hope you enjoy it. I am really looking forward to using this SKB case for a special project. Another interesting thing I found out with reading up on the SKB cases is they're buoyant. So I'm not sure if this is the same way, but I'm thinking about getting a high-vis color and taking it to the beach with me and seeing how well it floats. I don't know. A little pink would look good, don't you think? Anyway, talk to you guys later. I hope you enjoy.